music no one can ever refuse it. Pulsating, vibrating, reggae, reggae, reggae. Very sky, rock, steady, mental, a quadrillion, a cool minute.
So how many years, how long you guys been doing this real stuff?
This year is our 5th year.
Oh,
Yeah, we started in 2020.
or during COVID time.
Yeah, and we are still here, moving on.
Yeah, that's good. It's a good thing. It's a
Oh
good
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, we like
It's
it.
true real stuff.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
and you're gonna give us some more real stuff that people don't know, and people need to know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the simplest mistake you make it can,
Oh yes,
it-
can hurt the body.
exactly.
Yeah, but you see, like simple things that we don't seem to teach these things, and sometimes they don't get passed down.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true. I mean, when I realize, look back at how we used to do things back home in Jamaica, our
yes.
grandparents,
Hmm.
and then when you learn the real thing, it's surprising to say how they survive.
Okay. Yes.
And
Yes.
sometimes they have these kind of sickness and don't really realize it can be started. That's just first cause.
Hmm.
Some of these things are what cause it. So um, attack the body, the
Oh yeah.
organs inside, the organ within the body.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can. We ready to start?
Coming up. Courtney's coming now.
Okay.
We're just
Yeah,
waiting
so
on him. Yes.
yeah, so we can really talk about these things.
Oh yes. So you started out as a chef?
Yeah, actually, I started out from growing up. I always loved cooking.
Okay.
You know,
Okay. Yes.
yeah, always in the kitchen with my grandmother, my mother. So it was, it was as a child. You kind of wonder when you see them put things together and the completion is
Yes.
tasty and
Oh
delicious
yes.
and
Oh yes.
beautiful.
Yeah.
You realize. So I attended after school, high school and thing. I have a conversation with my father, and he said, "Well, I mean, if that's what you want."
Yeah. Oh yes.
So when I migrated to the U.S., I attended the Culinary Institute of America, which is
Mm.
the number one top chef school in the
Yes.
U.S.
Hmm.
You know, and as you go during my studies, I realized that this is not just cooking is science, mathematics, and art.
Art. Oh yes. Oh
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah, art. Because
Hmm.
the things you can do with food to make it, the first thing you want to make sure is it look presentable.
Yes.
It's gonna smell good, look pretty, and it should taste the same.
Okay.
So
So you still
after my
You still cook?
at home, I retire now. I retire.
Okay.
See, yeah, I started out as an executive chef um, from Culinary Institute of America. Then I went to University of Maryland and did nutrition science,
Hmm.
as a nutritionist. And
Okay.
from a master's, that's on my master's. And after that, I went to, I decided, let me take this a little bit further because it's also you want to have more knowledge, for one, and two, of course, you want to make sure you're paid well
Oh yes. Oh
in
yes.
the profession. So
Yeah.
I did my doctoral degree at Augusta University in Virginia, where I did my PhD to become a doctor
Yeah.
in the same field of nutrition science.
Hmm.
You know, but I think today we're not going to talk about nutrition because I told Courtney, you know what? I can come back another time and dig deeper into nutrition.
And we love when you come back and cook something for us too. We have a cooking show too. We also have a
I,
cooking show.
yeah, I cook at, hey, we can arrange that.
Yeah,
But
man.
I mean, I cook at home. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, I mean, Courtney already tastes my hand and thing. He
Okay.
tastes my
O-
cooking.
Okay. So he can vouch for you. Okay. Courtney.
Yeah, he can approach.
Surely, man. Man is a great chef.
Morning, morning. Your voice is a bit
Morning.
low, Courtney. Your audio is a bit low.
Yeah, I mean, Courtney tastes my hand, man. Up to this weekend, I did the curry goat, you know.
Okay.
But yeah, but I mean, you see, food safety is all about the first thing is how you treat your food, the receiving part of the food.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't realize, you know, not I'm not gonna talk more so about what we do at home, but most of what they do in the hospitals and senior living facilities and communities because um, it's it's good to practice the same thing at home, but when you're in the hospitals and the senior living areas, you're dealing with people who are already sick, so they have lower immune system, older age, and as well as kids, babies. Those are because as I say, the people who are immune system are very low and quickly need to make sure we're giving them safe food is elderlies and babies.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we in between in the middle, we're a little bit stronger, but we still need to practice it. The safe food safety, because I mean, food safety is nine things, right?
Yeah.
Is
Don't start yet. We haven't started. Courtney.
okay.
Yeah. You could just continue the program. We can put in that part in a big at end.
Okay,
As
no problem.
since you were starting and having that. Yeah.
Say that again, Courtney.
No, you can go. You say you can go
No,
ahead.
I was saying, yeah,
Oh,
go ahead.
I mean, one of the thing that's very important. One of the thing when you talk about how does bacteria or food become danger when you have the employees if they we always practice. I always have meetings and teach my staff, my employees, not to wear their uniform on the public transportation because everything are you there?
Yeah, we're here. We're listening. Yeah.
Everything that you really care pick up those bacteria and germs and toxic from the public transportation and carry that straight into the kitchen. So it's best to we look at personal hygiene, employees. We want to make sure they're in the proper uniforms. We want to make sure they change clothes, put on aprons, and the first thing you do when you step in the kitchen is wash your hands. Yeah. Yeah, make sure you wash your hands. You wash your hands because that's important. These people keep calling me. Mhm. Yeah, can you hear me, Courtney?
Yeah, we're hearing it clearly. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I mean, the next step you want to look at also is receiving how you receive the food. You know, after because that's the beginning of really food safety. they're the proteins like beef, chicken, eggs, ground meat. We wanna make sure well once those receive, they're coming into a freezer truck, delivery truck, or you also gonna take the temperatures to make sure that they're in the correct temperature. Because as you know, when food is in the danger zone is when it's above 41 degrees. You know, anything after 41, you want to make sure if it's not. And I tell the people that if you're not allowed to go buy food from the back of a pickup truck because it's very hard for them to maintain the temperature, especially with the traveling of the food. So you also want to make sure you take a temperature that anything coming from a refrigerator should be 41 and below. If it's above, then it's dangerous. So you already start multiply bacterias, um, E. coli, salmonella, neurovirus, you know. So we want to make sure that these things don't get inside of your kitchen and you're prepared for people and then they get sick. We'll do the same practice at home. I mean, you want to make sure because when we go to the grocery store, there's certain things are on in the refrigerator, like the eggs. Those should be refrigerated. I mean, I used to look back in Jamaica again when you see your parents, they wouldn't put the eggs in the fridge. They put the eggs on the table. You know, and so temperatures are very important when you talk about receiving areas. And the next step is storing. How you want to store it? Would you like to store the food is correct? You want to make sure all is a standard is ready to eat food should be above on top of the top shelf. Ready to eat food. The next item would be your fish, your seafood, below underneath that. And the next shelf would be your meat, pork, but on the bottom shelf, you're gonna have your eggs, your ground meat, and your chicken. And those should be in separate containers by themselves. So that's the proper way to store your food in the refrigerator. Because I walk past into senior living homes and see they have ice cream at the bottom shelf and chicken above it. You know how dangerous that is, because once that chicken thaw, and if you start to drizzle down the bloody water or anything that and get into that ice cream, then that definitely gonna cause an infection control. That's out of infection control. So you want to make sure you keep those separate to prevent contamination, cross contamination, and prevent pathogens to start multiply in into that ice cream. And these are pathogens that are very deadly, and it affects the organ because a lot of people. Let's talk about pathogens a little bit. Let me not try to rush myself, but when you talk about salmonella, as you know, is very deadly. It don't just come from. It also come from salads, fruits, vegetable can have salmonella in it, and mostly meat and ground beef, chicken and ground beef. That's something that you can transport to another person. Salmonella is you can because you can sneeze bloody water to your saliva. You can really contaminate that person to also pick up the salmonella from you. A lot of people realize that it is transferable. Now, the difference between salmonella and E. coli is not cannot transport. You cannot infect anyone with E. coli unless they're eating the same food that you're eating. And E. coli is like, once you get E. coli through water, resource, food, ground meat, fruits and vegetables, anything to do with that come from the soil. Those like potatoes, those things need to make sure you thoroughly wash them. And because you want to make sure there's no, you're not bringing in no E. coli. 'Cause E. coli contact, those that go directly to the organs. For example, if you pick up E. coli through water, the water source, like from the water you're drinking, that go to your kidney. And when it attacks your kidney, it enlarges your testicles as the size of a grapefruit. Sound funny, don't it? So these are the organs that we don't want to make sure we want to make sure we keep our food safe. We don't want to make sure we wash our fruit and vegetable. No cross contamination. How serious is cross contamination? What can cause it? In these healthcare communities, when you go into their dining service in their kitchen, you have color boards. You have the red and the white. You also have the yellow and the blue. But most people don't. The yellow and blue is not that's not as important to have all those different boards. Once you if you're cutting chicken, you want to make sure you wash, rinse, and sanitize. You should cut up. And a whiteboard to eat food like cheese and that's already cooked. Anything that's already cooked. When you talk about cooking, it's about because the first step is receiving the food, making sure you're buying it from a reputable company. You're receiving the food, you're storing the food, you're preparing the food. So that's a step. You're preparing the food. Preparation, you want to make sure you have no. Okay. One bad practice that I see at home, a lot of people take their meat out the night before and put it in the sink to thaw. That's dangerous. Once that you leave it overnight to thaw, thaw
So
thawing
what?
process should be done in the refrigerator. Eh?
So
Eh?
what is the proper process?
Take it out from the freezer and have it thawed out in the refrigerator. And it will thaw out. You should take it out. And another step you could do, you can put it in your sink, put it into a container, and run cold water on it. Do not put it in cold water and turn off the pipe. The pipe have to keep running to recycle the water for the thawing process. If you put it in just the water by itself, it's gonna keep then the water temperature is gonna get room temperature, and then they're gonna start multiply. So you keep the pipe running. They call it running cold water into a container. That's the and that's the last step you want to make. Now you can also thaw in your microwave, but you have to make sure whatever food you put in the microwave to thaw out, you're gonna immediately. You get me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So and after these thawing, of course, we want to make sure we season. Meat is thawed, put in a container, you go through your seasoning, your spices, and what I tell a lot of people, a little part of about nutrition. When you talk about nutrition, I like, and you and I talk about this too, Courtney. I like to do a lot of herbs and vegetables, especially if somebody uses a lot of herbs and vegetables. If somebody's on um, uh, NS diet, which I'm not going to talk about too much about that but you season your meat and you cook your meat. When you start cooking your meat, you maintain the temperature. It's very simple. It's time and temperature. No, it shouldn't be sitting out in the kitchen or in room temperature for too long. You make sure once you take your meat from the fridge and it's seasoned, you're going into cooking. Some people have the food sitting out, or like the meat product sitting out in room temperature for hours. And I'll have that what things that I've done before where I walk into the kitchen and see food sitting out, I throw it in the trash. Because I'm walking in, I don't know how long it's been there. It shouldn't be in there, it should be in the refrigerator till when you're ready for it. Yeah. So because we want to make sure that our residents and patients, we're serving them safe food, hot and safe. So in the cooking temp, you want to make sure you're, for example, chicken, correct temperature for cooking, it should be 165 degrees temperature. Once you put your thermometer in the thickest part of that chicken that you're roasting, and you get 165, the chicken is fully cooked and safe. For pork, it's 155. If you're going to do a beef to well done, it's going to be 155 degree. A lot of people cut their beef out like this your steak. A lot of people do to 135, 125 because of the different type. They want rare, they want medium rare, they want medium well done. So a well done steak would be 155. For a rare steak, it's 135. Yeah. So those are proper cooking temperatures for these items. Like eggs is 145. As I said before, you don't want nothing to fall below 135 and below 41. Yeah. So once your product is cooked and it's going into serving, now when you're serving, as you know, when you see the food into those hotel pans, those Schaefer's, and people you go to restaurant, they see people are serving you food from them. Every 30 minutes, they should be tracking those temperatures. And don't be afraid if you go to the restaurant and your food is not hot. If it's not hot, if it's cold, you need to give it back and let them know for them to take that back and get it reheated to 100. Anything to reheat, when you're reheating food, it has to be 165 degrees before you bring it back to the line, to the serving line.
Okay, quick question. When you're in your kitchen, what to people who don't have a thermometer to check oh, the
No,
temperature. So how would
yeah.
it gauge that?
It is your responsibility as a manager to provide your staff with thermometers. Each staff, part of the uniform, your chef pants, your chef jacket, your apron, your hat, your thermometer. And,
Yeah,
I, and
but I'm talking about a householder really. You know, who don't have a
also you can
thermometer.
purchase it. I have one I can also give to you in a corner. You can purchase them on
Okay.
Amazon. The one I have is like a probe. It's it's about $21 on Amazon. It's good to have it at home too. And also they have those thermometers for refrigerator. Because one of the reasons why you put temperature thermometer inside of a refrigerator, because even though it has its own thermometer on the outside, it can break that thermometer outside can can be not correct, can be incorrect. But when you go inside the refrigerator, you get the correct temperature from the thermometer inside the refrigerator and the freezer. But you can purchase those thermometer on Amazon. But I mean, I'm sure the idea about time and temperature is about, let's say you cook a big pot of chili, or most time we cook food and just put it in the refrigerator before it starts to cool down. Every 2 hours, let's say you have a big pot of chili, every hour you should be taking taking the temperature. It is safe to go in the refrigerator once it's under 70 degrees. From 70 and 60 degrees, you can put it in the refrigerator. So because let's say you cook a big pot of chili and throw it in the refrigerator and it's overnight, that chili might be cool or might be in the safe zone on the top, but in the middle, it is still lukewarm and not cool all the way. You might get a reading on the top, 38 degrees. As it go further down, you might realize it's probably there at 50. You see that center? It's already contacted with pathogens. It already have bacteria, pathogens, and sometimes it can be neurovirus, which is very easily transported by gathering. Hepatitis D or C, and these are the things that really attack your organ, because neurovirus, it goes through, it takes 24 hours to go through your system. When you start the vomiting, the diarrhea, those are the symptoms you get from those. So you want to make sure you break down your big soup pot of chili into smaller containers for them to cool faster in the refrigerator, and also in room temperature. So once it gets in the room temperature, once it gets to 70, you put it in the refrigerator to finish cool. Yeah. So you have to control the time and temperature control. Um, how do we, and I mean, what would you say about, where have you ever seen like unsafe food into a restaurant or into a home or so? We see it very often because a lot of people at home, we don't practice it to the T I don't practice it to the T when I'm at home because I make sure anything I take out, I'm getting ready to cook. I'm ready to cook. Yeah. So those things. In food safety also, you talk about cleanliness. How you want to clean up. You have to clean. Clean as you go. They always have signs in the kitchen say clean as you go. But there's a proper way how to clean. Even your dishes. Wash, rinse, and sanitize. So you take a soap water and wipe down the counter. Then you have, because your cooks, each cook should have 3 buckets. The green for the soap water, the blue for the rinsing water, and the red for the sanitizer. Or you can have your sanitizer into a spray bottle. So when you wash, after you finish preparing an item on a table counter, you want to make sure you wash it down with soap water. Then you use a separate cloth and rinse it down. And after rinsing, you apply your sanitizer on those surface and clean it. I mean, in most kitchens, they call it the Oasis system, they call it a 146 sanitizer. Or you can, at home, a lot of people use bleach. But check this out. You seriously, I use soap and bleach water. When you put soap detergent inside of a sanitizer, it breaks it down. It breaks down the sanitizer. So you're not really getting the real effect. If you're going to use bleach, bleach with water. And sometimes they sell those sanitizer, those gel sanitizer. Read those labels because sometimes those only sanitize up to 99%. So you have that 1% chance to pick up, to contact any of those pathogens. Any question?
No, you're doing well so far. But I'd like to, so I'd just like to revisit the whole thing about after cooking and refrigerating. Because sometimes
The cooling down.
the
Yeah.
cooling down aspect.
Yeah. Sometimes
Because
what?
I think that sometimes that's the aspect that people miss because some people let the food get cold before they put in the fridge. And don't realize
Exactly.
it's a bad practice.
Exactly. Because when you have the food sitting out there cold, by the time it passes, it's gonna go into the room temperature. Once it drop anywhere between 50 or drop below 60, and it's still sitting out, it's already starting to multiply bacteria. And we know, let me tell you something. 5,000 bacteria, it takes a second. 1 second, in 1 second, that pathogen can multiply 5,000 in 1 second. So think about it. And these are organisms that you can't see through with your eyes, bare eyes. You're not seeing it. You understand me? These are things that are visible with just your eyes. Yeah. So you're correct, Courtney. You're talking about people leaving their food cold, and sometimes too, a lot of people they have that food out there cold, and they probably want to go ahead and eat some without warming it up. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't believe in overnight food sitting out in the kitchen. Some people don't. I've seen that. I've seen people do it back home in Jamaica, and I say, hey, is either you throw it out or if you're gonna reheat it, anything you're reheating should be 165 degrees. And you put it in the microwave, and guess what? To reheat, it has to be done within 2 hours. You have a 2 hours gap to reheat it because let's talk about the big pot of chili. If you take that chili out and put on the stove to reheat it, if you don't get to 165 degrees within 2 hours, you can't reheat it again. That has to trash. You have to throw it in the trash. So reheating is recommend that you do you want to reheat small portions as you go.
Yeah.
You know, because one of the practice I have, since I know the danger zone for temperature is 100, hot food is 130 below, that you're in danger zone. You're falling in danger zone for 135 below, that then you know you're in the danger zone. So I recommend that if you're gonna hold your food on a serving line, make sure it's 140. So you have that 5 degree time. You have 5 degree above the danger zone. If you can keep it to 155, then that's great. And these are temperatures that take every 30 minutes, and you have to record, it has to be recorded. You don't just take the temperatures always fine. No, you record it because when the state walk in, they want to see those records. Those are the things that I ask for when I walk into, okay, your past records from your temperature for your food holdings. I ask for those. I review those. I review the temperature of your refrigerator. I want to see that you're monitoring those refrigerator temperature. You know, it's good. But when after I walk in, the state will be coming behind me. And when the state walk in, then the federal will be coming in. Because when federal come in, they do a more detailed check. If I walk in and I score a kitchen at 100%, which I know there's no kitchen you can find that doesn't have a problem. Because you look at even the pipes that's leaking underneath. So if I score a kitchen 100 degrees, what happened? Those records get sent to the state. The state gonna say, I don't think this kitchen can get 100 degrees because unless they probably pay off this guy.
Yeah.
You understand me? That's find me some money just for high score. And the state gonna walk in. And if they find that there's a lot of problems, food safety problems, cleaning and sanitizing problem, then they're gonna know directly. I will get fined from $2,000 and above. And if the state walk in and say, okay, it's 100 degrees, 100, it's 100%, 100% clean kitchen, no problem. Then the federal gonna come. And when the federal come, he put on his white gloves and start to pass it over table surface underneath the liquor rim at the table. Believe me, the federal come, they check, they want to see 6 months record. Not 6 months of record. You know? The federal they do a more detail. So when they see have the federal in the kitchen, everybody's on the P's and Q's. They observe to see if people are washing their hands, changing gloves, to see if people are checking. using the thermometer, taking temperature. Make sure they don't stand up and just watch. And they walk through. They check your ovens and make sure it's clean. Because one of you know why cleanliness is so important? It's a form of pest control. Because, and if you don't clean up behind yourself and make sure the kitchen is clean, there's no food crumbs, there's no grease, there's no food left open, your stove is clean, everywhere is clean, then you're gonna have roaches. You might have roach, you might have mice, yeah. And to prevent those things, you want to make sure, even at home, you want to make sure your equipment you use is clean, properly clean. Your sink is properly clean. You don't leave no pot with grease or pot with food on top of the stove or anywhere there in the kitchen. Because one thing people don't, let me tell you this. You see those little teenager roaches?
Yeah.
When they lay the eggs, it's 75 babies roach. Each egg gives you 75 teenager roach. So see how quickly they can really take over your kitchen.
And multiply, yeah.
And they multiply 75 in those little things. The rats, the little mouse. You check to make sure there's no holes in your kitchen. Because as small as the hole is, the mouse, what they do, they separate the joints and creep through. A lot of people don't know these things, Bernie. They separate
Yeah, that's true.
they separate their joints. So there's no joints and no bone to protect them from to stop them from going through the holes. So pest control is a must. Every restaurant, every kitchen, every hospital, they have to have a pest control contract. Because they also when we as inspectors, when we go inside, we check for those things. So I want to see a pest control log to see how often the pest control come. Should come 2 times a month, twice a month. And when he come, he also need to record it that he visit, have a visit. So these are a lot of these. This is how this is how food safety works. And this is how much it's important for people to follow. I mean, I was just talking with your partner, your partner, about back home. We see how people have these underlying sickness with their organs, and that part of it is about how they handle food safety. Because we talk about E. coli, how it damages your organs. E. coli is how that work on inside. It attacks your organs inside.
Yeah.
So that's how important it is. So I mean,
So what would you recommend? What are your recommendations to our listeners and viewers who are like for the personal kitchen? What tips can you give them that they can use?
Okay, the first thing you want to do,
Keep
you go back and revisit how you're storing things in your refrigerator. You go back and revisit when people who order food that delivered from Amazon and Walmart, before you receive those foods, you want to make sure when they come with it, if they have meat in it, you want to take the temperature of the meat. Get yourself a thermometer. Get yourself a thermometer. And more information you can get. You can if you go to surfsafe.com, you can buy the books you can purchase. I think for like you have the food manager license. When you're doing that, you go for it's about $125. The food handler is about $25. Good to have those books, and you can go through and start put those things in place in steps. You want to put these 9 things in step, which is you look at I want to have safe food. You want to look how can food become unsafe? What are the reasons? And I already list those out by not following those steps. You receive your beef, that's uncooked beef, above 140 degrees. That's already unsafe. Your eggs, it's it's above 41. Your chicken is above 41. Anything that's above 41 when you receive it, it is not good to accept it. And so to make sure your kitchen is safe, you look at things, what could I do to make my food unsafe? So you know the wrong things, you know? You look at storage, how you store your food. You look at how can I prevent cross-contamination? Let me touch something on cross-contamination. And you and I discussed this before, Courtney. When let's say you're cooking chicken, fish, or shrimp. If you're cooking 2 items, and don't have to be shrimp, but each item when you're cooking should have its own utensil during cooking. And a lot of people tend to, who don't know, a lot of people tend to get a container with some water, and when they stir the seafood, they drop it in the container water, and they take the other one and stir the goat or the other the chicken, and put it in the same pan of water. You know, constant right there, that water become contaminated.
Yeah.
They can be in the same container, but there should be. But make sure there shouldn't have any liquid in it, no water in it. As an empty container without water. In the same container, and then not touching. Because that's a form of cross-contamination too. I witness that because I'm allergic to iodine, shellfish. And I went out, I was back home in Jamaica, and a friend of mine, he bought the crawfish soup, and I buy the curry goat. And the same spoon that the guy used serve the crawfish soup, he used it to serve the curry goat. I was sick as a dog. I was sick. I started to throw up because it takes 7 hours to go through your system. 7 hours, first 7 hours, I'm good. You wake up in the morning, that's when I start to have throwing up, diarrhea, and all that. And I end up in the hospital. So I know, so I watch very keenly. And I'm I'm one of the worst person you want to have in your kitchen. I watch you and see how you serve food, especially when we go to restaurants. You know,
Okay, but a quick question, like in Jamaica, the practice of street food, I
Spec-
mean, yeah, a whole lot of street food cookers, and so how do people angle their safety in that kind of environment or situation?
as I said, if if you have street food every 30 minutes, you should be taking the temperature, make sure your temperature don't break down. And if you as a customer want to put yourself in that danger and they serve you the food and you feel it's hot enough, and you accept it and start to eat it, you reject that. Even though, if you talk about the guys who sell soup and pie, their soup are always hot. Soup, anything that's in liquid, hot liquid like soup, tea, porridge, coffee, those things are always maintained. It's hard to find them out of the safe zone. Hard to find them in the danger zone.
Okay,
So that's how you handle those street food.
yeah,
I mean, they should
because
be they
that,
they should have they should have a hotel pan. We call it a buffet pan with a fire underneath it.
yeah,
Yeah, they should have those little burners underneath it to maintain it, and they should be
yeah,
taking the temperature every 30 minutes because it's out in the public. And when we talk about cold food, let's say you have like a chicken salad, those chicken salad they make, and those seafood salad in mayonnaise, mixed in mayonnaise, tuna fish, mayonnaise, mustard.
yeah,
Those should be sitting on ice, not just on ice, but into an ice bath. Have a little bit of, have some water in it to keep while the ice melt to keep maintaining the temperature. It shouldn't have them sit out in the sun. You go to some cookouts, and the people they serve those things that when you go to cookout, potato salad, coleslaw, just chuck it on the table. It should have some form of ice on it to maintain the temperature.
okay,
And the same thing for the street sale vendors. You know, they're they're items that carry a longer shelf life until it opens because like your dressing, your mayonnaise, those are usually stored in dry storage. But once you open them, those have to be go refrigerated. And it's good
yeah,
sometimes to do the label and date because I think shelf life dressing, most there dry dressing and mayonnaise, they have a year before they expire. But once you open them, you start to monitor it. That year become 3 weeks. So I mean, there's a lot of things when you talk about food safety. There's a lot of things, little topics you can't touch, you have to touch and monitor. So you have to just learn to monitor what you do at home. Monitor when you go out and buy food off the street. I don't tell you, to be honest, not to stop these vendors because I know they're hustling, but it's not safe. It is not safe. And I understand back home if everybody would find a little hustling. I'm not trying to knock them, but if they're serving safe food, then I will always recommend that. Yeah,
yeah. Because remember that most of these food vendors, they're outright out into the public, I mean, without any kind of covering,
yeah.
wind blowing.
The,
some things,
car driving, sometimes the car driving past.
Yeah, combustion from the whole thing. That's why I was saying that.
Hey, that's a true method for disaster. Without covering, Right. It's true. That's a very good method for disaster. Especially when you have it out in the public. People passing. Sometimes people pass and spit, and the breeze blow.
Oh, it's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's why I said I recommend it. Hey?
Yeah. Now, so sometimes people have colds and they spit out the cold, and that
Yeah. And
on the ground,
the particles just
blowing
blow over. Yeah. Yeah, you're right about that. And you remember this big thing about the lady, she BM, they claim that she BM or behind the kitchen or wherever. And
the
when
crab
the inspectors went out, they realized that there was nowhere to wash their hands and all that. Some of those places, some of those street hustlers, they probably wash their hands in the same, have a bucket of water and wash their hands in the same bucket continuously.
Yeah.
Where you should wash your hand in the running water for 20 seconds. Yeah. Because to prevent infection control part is about washing your hands. You wash your hands and lather it for 20 seconds. And when you first you turn on the pipe, the steps of washing hands to prevent infection control. Because that's the best method to prevent infection control is washing your hands. So let me go through the steps. First, you turn on the pipe, right? You wet your hand, then lather it with the soap. Wash your hands. Wash hand process should take 20 seconds. And if you want to do the 20 seconds, you can sing the happy birthday song. And you wash your hand and rinse your hand. Some people, when they wash their hand, they bring it up. They wash it up. You're bringing the bacteria from the dirty hands up to your elbow. So you wash down. From your hand down, you wash down when you're rinsing. Then you take a towel, piece of paper towel, and dry your hands. And then you use that paper towel to turn off the water, the top. Turn off the water. Because it would make sense for you to use a clean hand to turn off a dirty pipe top. You get me? So the piece of paper you use to wipe your hand, just use it and turn off the cock and put it in the trash. That's a proper procedure for hand washing to prevent infection control. Those are the sanitizer you put on your hands. It's only sanitized over 99%. Look at it. Read those labels. Some of them is at 97, some is at 99. It's not they don't give you 100% of sanitizer. So
well, that's a fact.
Yeah, that's a fact. Best thing. But I mean, I'm not telling you not to use it. You can use it it's for a temperature, just temporary. But if you're cooking, I wouldn't recommend it. You wash your hands. If you're handling food.
So, okay, so Flavius, are you there?
I'm here, yeah, man.
So, Flavius, do you get it? What do you think about it?
Excellent. I think people need to know this, These are information that people don't even think about. And even the last part of the hand washing, I mean, for the past 5 years, we have been bombarded with wash your hand, sanitize. But people don't really know what that means or how to do it.
Yeah, yeah,
So I'm happy that you are now telling them the things. And of course, this whole thing of you wash and all that and using the clean hand to turn off a dirty pipe, you know, get you right back where you started.
yeah. And you sometimes sometimes you see that they don't. It's like they're not thinking
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
in that process.
oh yeah,
You know, you see those bathrooms that have the blower to dry your hand.
yeah,
I don't like it
oh yeah,
because if it's dirty, it's blowing down by bacteria on your hand.
oh yeah,
If it's not clean,
yeah. Mm.
so that's a fact.
But what I usually do before I finish washing, I normally wash off the pipe cock.
Yeah, you
You
can do
know,
that too.
yeah, that's what I normally do. Now when I'm completed the washing, when I turn it off, it is clean already. You don't want to leave it dirty anyway.
You know, just something a lot of people don't do as well. When you wash your plate and your dishes, you're supposed to put them let them hair dry. It's supposed to be air dry.
Hmm.
They're not supposed to use. It's not a good practice for you to use a piece of cloth and dry it to put
No,
it
no.
away.
Yeah, I don't do that either. I don't use.
Need to be air dry. And if you wash your pot and your plate and turn it down, where the water can drip off from it. That same water stay there and multiply bacteria.
Oh yeah. No, you have to make it drain, man. You have to make it drain. I mean, that
Yeah,
is
that same water.
basic. Yeah.
That
Hmm.
same water gonna stay there for pathogens.
Yeah.
But see, these these pathogens are things they they I call them they're hungry.
Hmm.
They want to multiply because then they multiply fast.
Oh yeah.
You know, thousands and thousands. So those are the things we also have to take into consideration.
Hmm.
Yeah. So Courtney,
Yes.
Courtney,
Yeah,
yeah. So
yeah, man.
so
Well, really thank you. Really enjoy this conversation because I think, these are information that people need to know, especially like, when, for your kitchen, because
yeah,
people cook every day and there are things that we don't know because you talk about like the practice of storing eggs and people always, most people keep their eggs out and
yeah.
they don't understand you have to keep it in a refrigerator.
These are even
Yeah,
sliced fruits and vegetables. They keep it out. It's about once you cut it, it's supposed to go in the refrigerator.
Oh yeah.
definitely.
Hmm.
Sliced tomato, those things need to be refrigerated once you cut them.
But there are
And
also certain things that I say shouldn't be put in there. Like onion and garlic and ginger.
if it's not cut, you don't have to put it there if it's not cut. Like an
Yeah.
onion, once you slice the onion, you want to keep it in the refrigerator.
Okay.
I mean, things that are safe can stay alive. Bread is safe. Cake, flour, those anything with wheat is safe to stay out in room temperature.
Hmm.
Yeah,
But with the onion, what you have to tell people too is that onion, if when you cut it, you're supposed to have it covered or something because we know that onion draw everything around in the
Yeah, but it
kitchen.
absorbs
yeah,
everything around it. Yeah.
because onion have a gas. You see, when you're cutting a lot of onion, it starts to burn your eyes.
Yeah.
Is the gas from that onion is released. that cause the burn of the eyes. That's why when you cut it, you have to put it in the refrigerator.
Okay.
Yeah, but you have to have it covered too, because
Yeah, have it covered, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
you
has
have to have it in a covered container, yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Mm.
I think I'm gonna come back next time and another time and do nutrition.
Yeah, that would be wonderful.
Talk about some modified diets and all that.
Yeah.
So I'll talk with Courtney and see when we can think we can do that.
And also remember, you have to come back and cook us a meal.
Oh man, you have to come here on a Sunday, man.
All right, no problem. We can record it on a Sunday. Not a problem.
Hey, yeah. As Courtney said, Courtney, he tastes my cooking.
Yeah.
I have no complaint, my brother, right?
I don't think we could do it live enough there, so maybe we'd have to just set up like a video it before. And
yeah, anyway, it can be done. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah, that have to be special because I have some form of disability, That's why I retired.
Okay.
In 2023, I retired.
Mm-hmm.
Good to retire young too.
Yeah, of course. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
All right. All right then. So Courtney, we'll talk.
Thank you.
And nice meeting you.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, man, same here.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Lead us to full. You belong far away away. Ajugwala lebobu seru. Lida mua, lida sungfula. Lida mua, lida sungfula.
Well, unfortunately, this is it. Till next time. Bless.
All you gotta do is just speak. One word is enough, and I'm no longer so rough. I forget what I was trying to say. I no longer do what I was gonna do, but you're no good for me. That's why me do what set me if it could flee. Me I fi take away me say. Me I fi take away me say. Me I fi hide like a thief in the night. Me I fi get out outside.